we're going to talk about a few little tricks in Illustrator that will help you with some of your symbols or icons and help you with all kinds of stuff that you do in the future. I have a few things drawn up here already, but these are the finished versions. So I'm going to turn on my icon art and turn on my templates, and you can see what I'm going for. This snowflake is pretty much done, but I'm going to show you a trick with the snowflake that will help you on a bunch of other things as you complete different icons. And you can see if you look at the snowflake as I hover over, it's all made up of paths with a really fat stroke, and it's an 8-point stroke. We're going to do an operation with this that takes it from being paths with fat strokes into a united shape. So here's how it works. Going to have it selected first, and going to Object, Path, and Outline Stroke. This, as you can see, is going to take each of those fat paths and change it into its own individual shape. So you can see where the anchor points are now on the outsides of these shapes instead of in the center of that stroke. Now, in order to make this really work for you, helps to use the Pathfinder. If you don't have the Pathfinder, you can usually get it by going to Window and down to Pathfinder, and it'll show up somewhere on your screen. The Pathfinder trick that I want to do with this is Unite, which takes everything that's there, turns it into one lots more complicated shape. And you can do a lot more things with this now. So I'll show you on the next one why you might want to do something like this. So this particular icon needs to have a gap between two of these shapes. So there's a circle here. There is a human body, and these are two separate shapes right now. What I need to do is create that gap that is a constant or a consistent width between this head and the body. Here's a great way to do that. I'm selecting the piece that I need in order to determine the width, and we're going to Object, Path, and create an offset path. Now, right now this is in inches. I think it'll work better in points. And we're going to do 5 points. Let's preview it and see what happens. So it's creating another path around the path that I had there initially. I think 5 points was too much, so let's say it's 4 points. Does that work? No, let's go 3 points. And I think that looks pretty good. I could use that as my gap. I'll say OK. And you'll be able to see, if I do this, that there's a specific magenta shape right now I want to take away from my green shape. So I'll get those two selected. And the magenta shape is in the rear of the green shape, so I can do this one. It says minus back. Do you think it'll work?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, sweet. Does that look cool?
That looks rad.
Rad.
Rad, Dad.
Totally rad.
So here is another example of where you might need to use both of those ideas. How should I create this guy? I'll make him from scratch. And some kids have had issues with this. Here's the fastest, easiest way to make it. First of all, I'm making a path that follows the center line of the body of this character. He doesn't need a fill. He does need a stroke. And I'll turn up the stroke until I get it to about the size that I need. Does that look right? Cool. Now I'm going to make one more path between there and there. Smart Guides is helping me keep everything level right now. And I also want to make an ellipse that is a circle. Shift Option. And since I just created 2 things with 6-point stroke, it's doing the same thing for that. Now, I'm going to take these ones and do the same thing. Object, path, outline the stroke. And in fact, I also want to do that for this object, path, outline, stroke. Now, if I look in my layers, I think I'm going to create a layer just for this piece that I started making and put all the parts into that one. Alright, I'm going to grab all the pieces of the man that I have so far, and I'm going to use my Pathfinder again to unite those two together. So he's one geometric, kind of complex shape. Then I'll use the offset path trick again. Let's do 3 points and see what that does. Does that look about right? Cool.
Looks about right.
So what I want to do is take away just the pink part from the blue part right now. I'll get those 2 specific paths selected. I'm using shift to select more than one at the same time. This time I need to go minus front. Did it work?
Sort of.
Yeah, I think it worked well enough. I can get rid of parts of this that I don't need. Now I have a perfect gap that follows the contours of this object and cuts it away from this object. I'll use the eyedropper tool to get that to be the same color again. Now I need a head that lines up perfectly with the body. So I'm going to use my ellipse tool again, and I want it to start right on this line. Going to hold down shift to keep it a circle, but not holding down option. So this is making my circle draw right on that line. Big enough?
Yeah.
And I'll just use my arrow to drag it down until it's tangent. Look good?
Looks good.
Now I might go in and unite those ones, and I'm probably done with that. Hopefully that helped you finish 3 projects.
You didn't do the stairs.
I bet you could do the stairs exactly the same way that you drew that guy.
Sweet.